Hey, I'm Ray Parker. I played Darth Maul in Phantom Menace and Solo, a Star Wars story, and G.I. Joe, Snake Eyes, and you're listening to Disney Universe Podcast.
We would be honored if you would join us.
To infinity and beyond!
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all!
You are without doubt the worst pirate I've ever heard of.
But you have heard of me.
I only hope that we never lose sight of one thing. That was all started by a mouse.
Skywalker, there are too many of them. What are we going to do?
Oh, there it is. We have galloped like a bantha right back from Galaxy's Edge and into your homes. We are the Disney Universe Podcast celebrating Star Wars month, as we like to say we do every month, but especially here in the month of May, we do these exclusive YouTube-only shows. We're not on your audio waves because we want you to see us. We can't see you, unfortunately, but hopefully we can all see each other together in Galaxy's Edge one of these days. And since we're talking about Galaxy's Edge, we figured who better to bring on to talk to but the Galaxy's Edge Explorers, Bobby and Nadia.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Yeah, I'm jealous because I think out of everybody in here, I'm the only one that hasn't been to Galaxy's Edge lately, especially with a new retheming of the timeline. But we'll get to that shortly. So
They changed something?
something I heard. Yeah, news and rumors.
Oh, it's just Star Wars land.
They might have gone a little bit further, far a long time ago. Far. I'm butchering this. Had a long, crazy day, but forget about that. We're talking about Star Wars now.
A longer time ago in a galaxy in exactly the same place, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. But no, like I said, welcome to the show. Really excited to have you guys here. Both me and Alex, big, not just Disneyland, but Galaxy's Edge fans. And we always, of course, like people do, stumble across your page and then start resharing a lot of your posts. So before we get to your guys' awesome page, can you kind of introduce yourselves and what we'd like to ask our first time friends? What's your Star Wars story?
Well, this is Nadia.
And that's Bobby.
And when it comes down to it, our Star Wars story, I don't know if you have an individual one or if you...
I mean, I don't know, because Star Wars has just always been there. It's. I don't necessarily know if I have a story as so much as that it's been in the background of my life growing up and, going through, I was barely old enough to see the original trilogy as a kid growing up. So, that, and then the prequels came out, and those are kind of like the Star Wars that like I was able to go see in the theaters for the first time, and those were the new Star Wars for me. But they've just kind of just been like the background of my life. They've always kind of been there, like a warm blanket.
Yeah.
So, and you bring up a good point because now in 2026, there are a lot of people, especially creators out on the internet, who have only lived while Star Wars has existed. And some of us older remember when they were first coming out. But obviously, Star Wars isn't just in the background of your life anymore. No. Could you pinpoint a time when it kind of shot to the forefront?
I I can't necessarily pinpoint an exact time, but when it really got in my face was probably around opening up Galaxy's Edge and hearing about Galaxy's Edge. That's when it really became more of like an everyday thing in my life, because Galaxy's Edge is very much daily occurrence in my life. We have, the Instagram page and we go every weekend. And so it's like that really shot it front and center.
Nice.
Not to mention her constantly running around with a hot glue gun trying to get her next Batuu bound, not Disney bound, Batuu bound, ready for the next adventure. So just in the middle of the night, she'd be like, "Do we have red ribbon?" I'd be like, "Go back to bed. We don't. But I'll figure something out."
What about you, Bobby?
I'm somebody who actually was old enough to remember when the film first came out. By the way, this is Sky Guy the cat.
Nice.
Snips is running around. He's not holdable.
This is Sky Guy.
But no, I remember my father getting me and my brother the New Hope T-shirt before the movie had even come out. So here we are in Ocean City, New Jersey, on the boardwalk, and we're getting those shirts. And we're just excited about it because we were a Star Trek and Space 1999 house. Those were always the big things. That was our science fiction. And then when Star Wars came out, it just went on and on and on. And I just love the action figures, and I couldn't control myself then. I can't control myself now. So
yeah. No, I hear you. And I'm kind of like, I'm that too, where I was born the year after the original movie came out. My parents did take me to see Empire, but I was probably crying in the lobby, still in diapers. But I do remember seeing Return of the Jedi for the first time in the big screen at a young age, and just seeing how, seeing the opening crawl for the first time on the big screen was incredible, and Luke's lightsaber and the Ewoks, and been hooked ever since. So.
Yeah. It's an easy addiction to get started on. But I didn't know Star Trek and Space 1999, there were gateway drugs to Star Wars. I didn't know that. There should have been warnings.
My mom was always a big sci-fi fan, so there was always Star Trek or something going on, on the television whenever it was airing on TV. It would always be on the television growing up too. So
that's awesome. And then fast forward, to was it
2019?
Well, I was going to say, or D23 2015.
There we go.
Yeah. Bob Iger cuts off Bob Chapek in the end of the Star Wars panel, and announces that they're bringing 2 Star Wars lands to each park, and the rest is history. And how soon after the opening of Galaxy's Edge did you guys start building your page and site and everything?
It was before.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was when we heard the announcement. We were like, we should make an Instagram for this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And every time there was a new announcement, I don't know how she managed to do this. She would always be texting me while I was at a particular Target in Eagle Rock, California. And it would always be like, "Oh my God, they just announced this. They just announced that." I can remember that happening all the way through to the point the tickets are about to become available for reservations for the hotels. So there's this constant Friday interruption that would pop up with her getting the latest on Galaxy Edge. But yeah, we decided to start the webpage about a year before, and it was very thin pickings what we were able to put up.
Yeah.
I was even Smuggler's Run. I did an apostrophe, and some other page owner tried to take my head off with it. It's not right. That's not right. I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. But I remember putting up maps that were, I think this is where this is at. I think that's where that's at, and I'm still doing
speculation.
That.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Luckily during construction, there's a decent view from the parking structure. I know there's a lot of people who would hang out there for a little bit and just kind of video and photograph what they could as they could.
Yeah.
So
yeah, the funny thing is, if on Thunder Mountain, when you're up on the tallest peak by the goat, you could see the spires and you could see Cookie Ship for Docking Bay. So you could just see the tail end of that. And so we would always go on Thunder Mountain to see if we could see anything. You know?
When was the last time we went on that before it opened? It was a terrible raining day. It was the hardest rain I had ever felt, and it got even worse when you're going up the side of a mountain on a roller
going
coaster.
Down, it's worse.
Yeah. So so that was our last time seeing it before it opened, and we videotaped the whole experience. Yes, we videotaped. Yes, we recorded it, and all you do is you hear us suffering the entire time. But it was worth it. It was the one last peak before it became our home. So it was good.
Live with the rains of Camino, blessing you.
I've reached the Prime Minister. Oh, never mind.
No, I used to be like space rocks, when we get to that peak. So, and go ahead, Alex.
Oh no, I was just gonna say we got the opening day. Were you guys there opening day?
So I was getting like obsessive about it. I get FOMO really easily. So especially when it comes to events like that. So I had found out that if you booked a hotel, one of the Disney properties, you would automatically get into one of the boarding groups. And so I had booked it to where I got us into the first boarding group on the first day of when it opened to the public. So we were right there at the beginning.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
We were there the day before. Yeah, we went the day before in our Star Wars pajamas.
Okay.
Head to toe. Interviewed a couple of people live on the Instagram. Just getting ready for the excitement, sitting outside of the boarded up area. And Joey, you've seen the pictures of that area, but now it's just a tunnel that we know we go through for there. But back then it was like, what's on the other side? What's on the other side?
I remember in Skywalking, we always, anytime somebody that, Skywalk through Neverland always had I forget what the hashtag, it might have been waiting on Batuu or waiting for Batuu or something like that. But it's just people that were walking up to the door, kind of lining up and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did a couple of those. So it was a lot of fun. But yeah, I mean, I can't believe it's been over 5 years now that we've been doing it. And I mean, the daily content you guys been producing on Facebook and Instagram is just, like I said, it's our go-to. And when anything gets announced at Galaxy's Edge, and not just rides and characters, but even like myself, I'm also an action figure collector, and when some of them pop up at the parks, that's always kind of like my go-to, even though I could go to Target or Walmart sometimes. But dang,
sorry,
keep that up for a second. Nice.
Are those recent releases? I did see those this weekend.
Yep, they came out the week of May 4th.
Okay.
Right before.
Yeah,
so right before.
Came out right before it there, but they're releasing these under the guise of being from Mandalorian and Grogu movie, which they are, but
yeah.
Yeah, but they started out in Disneyland first.
Right.
The actual droids were in Disneyland.
And boy, did we try to research with the people there to find out what all their names were. So I can say safely we broke the story on the names of at least a third of them.
Oster, Grek, Besh, and Red.
Yes.
Yes.
Any rhyme or reason, or just?
Well, their color.
Yeah.
Oh.
So the blue is Besh. The red is
Red.
Red. Okay. And I forget the other names.
Oscar, Besh, orange, blue, red, Grek, green.
Grek is green.
Yes.
And Besh is the pronunciation in the Star Wars language. That's how you pronounce the B. That's the character.
In Abresh?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
So R is A, B is
Okay.
Besh, and so forth. Now, how do you guys say Arbresh? Let's get this out of the way.
Yeah.
I'm attacked every time I pronounce it in these videos.
I say Abresh.
I also say Arbresh, but I now that I'm thinking about it, is there an R in the beginning that I believe it's Aubresh?
Aurabesh. I think it just goes right into that. So there's the
So if it's AUR, then yeah, I guess it's Arbrish. But
yeah, I've normally, and I don't know if it's just how my tongue works, but I just say Arabesh sometimes.
And that's the battle. Every time I use two syllables, the 3-syllable community attacks. And I just got that from the last video where they're literally going in and going, "You're saying it wrong. It is," and they're doing it phonetically for me. And I'm like, I just can't win. I can't win.
It's Star Wars. It's like it's either Han or Han.
Yes.
Oh well, yeah.
Thank
We
you,
know
Lando.
there's no winning with the Star Wars community,
Yeah,
right?
no. It's funny because I got a Walt Disney.
The light and the dark side, right?
Well, I wrote that in a.
If you're Jedi, the dark side's not gonna like it. If you're a Sith, then the light side's not gonna like it. So there will never be pleasing everyone in the Star Wars community.
Yeah,
we move forward from there.
Speaking
No,
of
it's
the
funny.
Force,
Because I got a tattoo with a Walt Disney quote in Arabesh. when I show people, like, that's cool. What does that say? And I say, well, it's art. Well, it's a Star Wars writing is what I tell them, because they look at me like, what the?
Yeah, I've got it too, right here. Right here.
She has a Vi Marathi quote.
Oh, cool. What's it say? Out of curiosity.
Ignite the spark, light the fire. And then
Nice.
I have there's Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. There's Oga's Cantina. Let's see if I can twist it around. There's Black Spire Outpost. There's Mubo's droids. And then Savvy's lightsaber right there. So
Nice.
it's
They got
all of
Very cool.
one to put on there. We're ready for a new location.
yeah, I know. I've got a little
Saved it
space
warm.
right here.
Well,
So-
you bring up Vi Marathi, and that is one of my favorite characters and parts of original Batuu and Galaxy's Edge.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed the video that you guys put out just I guess a week and a half ago before the time change with her, which is an amazing video. But I guess for those viewers who aren't super familiar with Vi Marathi, I know we've brought it up in the past, but just talk a little bit about that character in the universe. And I know to me, I'm always one who's going to echo that representation matters. So seeing Vi in a galaxy far, far away was really cool. Every time we run into her, and I believe, and hopefully you guys can clear this up. Initially, she was supposed to be the hologram in Rise of the Resistance instead of Rey.
I remember hearing something about that, but like in the making of book, they didn't discuss that in particulars. But there's so many behind the scenes stories that people have.
So she's got a book all about her called Black Spire Outpost.
Yes.
And I believe it's Delilah Dawson.
Yes.
Delilah S. Dawson writes it. And the whole backstory of Batuu and how she came to be and how Batuu became the resistance base is in that book.
I have the book, and I'm just horrible with books. I've still not finished it. But I still tell people about this book, probably 8-9 chapters in, and how, as you said, it does give the backstory for every location within the land. It's super cool. And one day I'll get to the end there. There we go.
Oh, yeah.
Eddie.
Yeah, they did a really good job with like
There she
the
is.
pre-Galaxy's Edge, like Disney and like Marvel Comics, but doing like Galaxy's Edge comics and even like young adult books with like how Hondo was on Black Spire Outpost and kind of working his little thing, and then the stories with like Vi and a couple of Doc Undard stuff. So it was a nice little build-up that they were doing.
Yeah.
The storytelling element that came from Lucasfilm, or I'm assuming it was one of the things that they were insisting on. I can't be sure, but the immersion element. There's our first time using the word immersion in this podcast. The immersion in this one. I'm sure you guys have used the word before, but
a few times.
The element of having everything with a backstory. I mean, hey, welcome to this is the guide to Batuu, where it takes you through the history of everything. And we have two copies of this in the house because I don't even know why we have two.
I bought one and then you bought one and then
Traveler's Guide to Batuu. So
is that only available in Barks?
It's Nadia once called Vi by one of her code names, and she was just like, Shh, keep that down. I don't want everyone to know what that is. I don't want everyone to know.
Starlight?
No, it was Magpie.
Magpie.
Yes.
Okay.
But yeah, she's also, I think she's Starlight. So
Yeah.
she's on the Boys as well.
No.
So
You got Starlight, you got Stardust.
Exactly.
Star Wars.
You got Star Wars.
Yes, Star Wars. So,
but
what
yeah,
were you
we
asking,
love the
Alex?
rich history.
Oh yeah, I was just asking. Yeah, see all the buildup, and it's not as intelligible or great as you were anticipating. But the book, The Traveler's Guide to Batuu, is that found in Batuu, or is that something that can be found from publishers elsewhere?
I got it on Amazon.
Yeah.
Okay.
This was an Amazon release for a long time. Target would carry it online. They never carried it in the stores, but there's a virtually identical looking book that's a cookbook, and they also have
got
one
that
for
one, yeah.
they've got another one for Oh Good Drinks as well. So this was very widespread everywhere but Disneyland.
No, of course.
Interestingly enough on it there, but yeah, it gives us the complete history. Nadia was able to identify the flags that were in the, shall we call it, the new Batuu in place of the First Order signs, but she was able to identify them and go, oh, those are the neighboring cities to Black Spire, where the villagers work at.
Galma, Pika, and I forgot what the third one was.
Yeah.
But yeah, instead of the First Order banners, now they're just Batuan cities.
And that was from being able to see this, because, you know, it wasn't written anywhere in the Black Spire book, and certainly wasn't showing up previously inside the land. So this was giving us a lot of insight into what was supposed to be what.
Nice. So much detail in the whole land. It's crazy.
And going back to that key word of today's episode, immersion, definitely helps.
Take a
with that.
drink.
I know, right?
There we go. Immersion. There we go.
But I guess,
Oh.
you know, we love Star Wars and we love Batuu, so we're not going to get uber negative over here, but we do need to address the elephant in the room and how there have been changes made. And I think on two different fronts there, you know, they did the changes to the timeline, but also they've kind of let down the immersion, you know, as far as, you know, opening day, they were very adamant about only being able to find things in universe, you know, as far as the toys and things like that. And, you know, you would not be able to find things that say, you know, Galaxy's Edge or Disneyland on them. And now it's slowly kind of just crept into an auxiliary Star Traders, if you will.
Yeah.
But I guess I want to focus back on the good and how immersive it was from day one, and in the beginning, from the conversations with the townspeople in Batuu to the, like yourselves, other people who would visit Batuu and just kind of make the space what it is.
Yeah, I really liked going through and getting to know like the cast members there and hearing the backstory that they've made for themselves. And, you know, it was always fun. You know, it was on par with like interacting with Vi or with Ray or something like that. You could go to a cast member and they'll talk about, you know, oh, I live in, you know, Galma and my family is, you know, bantha farmers, and, you know, they just like have these great elaborate stories that they made for themselves. And, you know, we'd be immersed, you know, we would be, you know, talking as if we're visitors there from, you know, this is our home planet, and, you know, and this is what we do. And it was just like, it just added just that extra element to it that really just kind of made it like, you know, we were talking about it. It's a Star Wars Renaissance fair, you know.
And so cool, such a cool opportunity for cast members. You know, you come to work at Disneyland, whether you're selling popcorn, operating a ride, or even maintenance and keeping it beautiful. Now these cast members in Batuu got the opportunity to make a backstory and kind of be part of the fun, almost as if while they are working and serving us, they are also playing as we are, being part of the story. So, you know, it's the old adage I always like to poke fun at. If you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. I always say that's bull, but if you will enjoy it a little bit more. It's not as hard, so that is great. I think both of us here loved from day one the big swing that Batuu was in how they were committed to keeping it an in-universe sort of space, and making it a place where we could all live our own Star Wars story. Obviously, where we've gotten to now, it's kind of changed. As I've said, I think we both said, kind of succumb to the cries of people who just wanted to see Darth Vader, Tatooine, and the Star Wars that they know, the layman, if you will. I don't know. But I guess back to, what would you say were your favorite parts? You mentioned interacting with the cast members, maybe other citizens of Batuu you guys see there on the regular. Was there more of that going on 4 years ago than you see today?
Yeah. Yeah, there was. There was even was it about maybe 2 years ago, they started actually telling the villagers to dial it back.
No.
And even the First Order personnel, they were asked not to be so mean towards the guests. So whenever somebody's mean towards us now, we're like, oh, good.
Yeah.
You're doing it right. You're doing the thing. You're doing the
Let
thing.
the hate flow through
Real
you.
meme.
So it's like, please mistreat us. It's like middle school all over again.
Yeah.
But yeah, originally not only were they were told to back off, but they used to schedule villagers to be roaming the land. And I remember one guy kept coming up to us with tentacles.
Oh yeah.
Wanted to go ahead and sell us tentacles from one of the creatures that he had, and he's like, "This is a good one. This one and
trade, not sell."
yes, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
So go get some Republic credits. We'll talk about it. But those villagers, they were removed, and then the land became less interactive at that point, because occasionally someone will be out and it's like, oh look, they're playing Sabacc over there. And they're teaching people how to play it. And that used to be a constant sight of someone always out there in different areas.
Remember the Council of the Porgs that they had?
Council of the Porgs.
Did you guys hear about the Council of the Porgs?
I heard of it, but I hadn't seen it.
Yeah, we were lucky enough to see it a couple of times. And basically what the Council of the Porg is it was a couple of villagers that they just did, and they'd have one of the larger sized porgs, and then everybody would bring their little shoulder porgs and stuff and do it in a circle around the larger porgs.
It was
and people would come by and leave offerings like stickers or a credit or this and that, and they just there's just a cast of Batuuan there hanging out with the Council of the Porgs, and it was just little things like that just made it so special.
But they were told not to do it any longer. And we had one final one, which I think that was so long ago. That's when B2 EMO, our remote control, was going to it. So back during Andor season 1, it passed away, shall we say? So
well, the real truth is Chewie came too close one time, and they all scattered and never seen again. So.
Yep.
Little KFP, Kefkin Fried Porg.
I like that.
That's cute.
I remember that.
Yeah, you remember, you mentioned little stuff like that, and I think I was telling you, Bobby, through message, because the last real Star Wars Disneyland event or fan event was Life Day, the observed one in the rain, because that was my girlfriend's birthday, and I was filming it for our YouTube channel, and then I was watching your guys' videos. I'm like, our videos are literally
one day we're gonna get that 3D vision goggles, and they're just gonna pull in all the footage from it there, and it's like, wow, 2025 in the rain, Star Wars land.
Yeah, which was amazing though. The reflection of the orbs in the ground was super cool. I was going to show some pictures, but I don't want to risk a little bit more internet flub ups.
You can cut them in with editing, I guess.
Exactly. So, maybe I'll do that. But see, you had I can't even talk right now. But with like that event, I know there's like Ahsoka Day. Are you guys involved in all the like fan events that usually show up at Batuu West? Because I know some happen East too.
So with that, the very first event was Life Day, and we put up a posting in Facebook going, "Hey guys, let's get together on Batuu for it." And that's when also we found out that Obi Sean, what's his full name?
Sean Crosby.
Sean Crosby had already been putting one together, so we just merged ours. And he pretty much took point from that point on. And then we started to see people doing, there was a lightsaber meetup, I think, came along at one point. And we saw those posts. So it's like, oh, let's start to publicize that. Hey, we wanted to do something. So our first post was the, you're going to love this, Alex, was the Porgs of Batuu.
Yeah.
Which everyone bring in your porgs, and it was a rainy day, so we ended up moving inside of Docking Bay 7, but easily a good 60 people and multiple porgs. It was absolutely ridiculous. I loved it. This whole pre-pandemic on it, but now that the pandemic's sort of wrapped up, and at least this one has, we're trying to get the interactions going again. And what was it about Ahsoka Day this year?
So there's a group that normally puts it on that they're based on the East Coast. They do both. They would do both East and West. But ever since the pandemic came and went, they just stopped doing it. And this past year for Ahsoka Day, we saw that they'd put up that they were doing one over on East, and we're like, hey, what about West? Is anybody? We actually had some friends of ours messages going, hey, is there anything going on for Ahsoka Day this year? And we're like, not that we know of. And they're like, well, should we do something? And, then, the rest is history, as they say. And now we're doing Ahsoka Day West every year. So
nice.
And actually, it's every 2 or 3 months. We're actually hosting another meetup. We did a Ahsoka Day meetup. That was followed by the Creatures of Batuu. See, we expanded.
I remember that one.
Expanded out to include more.
That
and that one was a great success as well. In fact, we had a Lucasfilm employee. She builds
Merle's mom.
She built Merle for the Ahsoka series. Would you like to tell your little bit of trivia with it?
So she worked on building the puppet Merle for Ahsoka, and it turns out that she had a cat that had passed away a little while ago, but throughout its life, she collected all of his little whiskers that would fall off. And so she took those whiskers and put them on Merle. So Merle has the whiskers of her cat that passed away.
Oh.
Well.
And it's great. It's great to be at Batuu talking to this woman, and we're actually showing her our $100 Merle that they were selling in the park. They still are.
Yeah.
But hey, how does this compare to yours and such? And her being able to share those kind of stories, and she just came out because she saw it was Creature Day meetup. That was remarkable.
Yeah, and one thing that we will give to all sides of the Star Wars fandom is that we really appreciate the people behind the camera. So that must have been a really cool thrill for everybody who had a chance to interact with them.
Yeah.
And our next meetup is at June 7th. It's the Droids of Batuu West.
Nice.
And it's similar to something that we used to do a while back. But again, it was one of those
pre-pandemic.
One of those clubs that got started and just kind of died off, and the admins stopped participating, and then they dropped out, and we're just picking up a missing ball again. And we're going to throw it around and see what happens. So our plan is every 2 months or so have another one of these meetups. So Ahsoka Day once a year, but lightsaber meetup, the droid meetup, and the creature meetup, and then whatever else ends up popping up in our
so
minds.
On the droid one, is that like people that build the droids at Galaxy's Edge and the Droid Builder, or
So yeah, we're actually partnering up with the Droidsmith Union, which is a further evolution of the Mubos Droid Builder Club. Pre-pandemic, it was Mubos Droid Builders, and then post-pandemic, they turned into this kind of Droidsmith costume club. But most of the members from the Mubos Droid Builders Club moved over to that. So we're actually teaming up with them to do this. So the guys that are in the uniforms with the numbers, the big numbers on them, the coveralls.
The cat carriers.
Yeah. The cat carriers.
Yes.
So that's with them. And so they'll be like, we starting in the picnic area, and then we'll be moving inside. But when we're in the picnic area, they're going to be displaying all their custom droids on the tables, and there's going to be droid racing and, just like all sorts of stuff to do and see.
I got an idea. So they already do Dapper Day at the park, right?
Yes.
Next Dapper Day, encourage people to make it Canto Bite Casino Night. So they
I wanted to do that. I've wanted to do that.
Galactic Nines for Dapper Day. I think that would be a lot of fun. I was thinking Casino Night, but there's no casino and it's not Canto Bite. But just putting a galactic spin on Dapper Day would be a lot of fun.
You can have the Cindrilla wedding and just play the YouTube videos for 7 hours.
All
the Crashing Mothma song.
Yes, Mothma Crash Out.
Yeah,
it's on our playlist for sure.
Oh yeah. So I wasn't going to say this now, but I'm just going to actually tease it. But I was going to ask you guys something about a possible meetup that we will be talking about off show. So if you guys are watching and curious about it, stay tuned, because it's something that I've been brainstorming for about a month or month and a half now.
Yeah.
And if you're watching the show at a later date, read below, because I'll spoil it. I'll just go in there and I'll just put in whatever it is. So
you're going to have to
top secret. Don't tell anyone, but
but you're going to have to follow.
Want people to know at some point, so that'll be good.
Yeah.
Yes. That's
you're going to want to follow Disney Universe and Galaxy's Edge Explorers for sure.
Yeah.
And a couple of some more friends.
Very interested to hear that.
Yeah.
So, we keep talking about Batuu West, Batuu East. Have you guys been to Batuu East?
No, I actually grew up in Florida, but I left when it was still the MGM Disney studio.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like they built a third park. They're crazy.
Yeah. It's always fun to think about what used to be there. I think like Streets of New York and Backlot Tour, things like that. Anything, I mean, for the most part, it's the same. Is there anything you would be interested to see out there that's different?
What? Go ahead.
I would have liked to have gone when the Star Cruiser still existed.
Yes. Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah.
That was like the main thing. Now that the Star Cruiser's not there, I'm just kind of like, meh. But the thing is, though, now that Batuu has changed, Batuu West has changed, I might want to go there to have the old school Batuu,
Oh, that's right. They have not changed there.
They're not changing, yeah.
Well, they have
go right
they
now.
Haven't changed it.
But, the word from them somewhat officially, because I've only read, there's only 2 articles, I think, that are floating out there. One on StarWars.com and another one's on the Disney Parks blog. And they say that, for now, Orlando will remain the same and contain that story. And part of me is like, great, well, West is going to be the test bed. See what we do right, what we do wrong, and then we can roll that out to East. And equal amount of people want it that don't want it. If I was to do a survey in our chats, because people love this or they hate it.
Well, that's what's funny, I think, is the people like us who appreciate it and were regularly going there are not necessarily for it, whereas the people who weren't really going and for all intents and purposes probably won't be repeat customers anyway are the ones that wanted the changes. I was able to go, and I know Joe's been for my honeymoon in 2022, and I think the biggest differences are alcoholic in that the blue milk stand, you can get an adult version of those beverages, and in Oga's Cantina there is no, well, they might have a time limit if it's busy, but there is no limit to the number of beverages you may consume. As told when we asked, the limit is only how many credits you have.
Oh, that's
And they got
interesting.
two
I have
entrances.
to dress as a woman to be able to get more than the 2 drinks in there usually. So
Well, I might have to pull another job out to get more than the 2 drinks in there.
yeah, well, that could happen. That could happen.
And it's weird, but they only have the 2 entrances on each side. They don't have the middle entrance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one
And
that's
that's weird.
between
That's
the
weird
refreshers
looking
and the landing pad for the
Yeah.
tie. Yep, that one is just a brick off wall.
Wow.
And the corridor, you guys have the corridor that led to the Star Cruiser, and ours has been permanently closed. We've never seen that open. I imagine just behind it is street sweepers for at night for cleaning up.
Yes,
Well-
I've been on a 5K, so I have been behind there, and it's
Oh, cool.
pretty much looks the same as backstage on the other parts around the berm area. You know,
Well, for somebody who's always involved in Adventureland Day, that's where the treasure passing outing happens.
Mhm.
Right out that area.
in front of that door.
Yeah. And then Chewie came out when everybody was there. So
See
that
a
was
lot of
kinda
people
cool.
practicing lightsaber there. It's a good open space.
Oh, yeah. But I was curious out of all 3 of you guys, actually, being that you've all seen the new timeline, haven't really talked about your guys' opinions. So what are your overall thoughts? I know you guys shared videos of the audio, the music, and stuff. It's a very interesting video.
Because I went into it
Yeah.
going in off of seeing the content you guys have put out. So from my experience 2 days ago, I did not notice the score as much, although I don't have a basis for comparison. The volume levels have definitely lowered.
Yeah, we heard.
My biggest gripe going into it without having experienced was that I really appreciate the ambient sounds, the ships passing by and, crowds in the marketplace, what have you. And those were still there. I don't know if they were not there at one point or what, but it kind of eased me a little bit knowing that those hadn't gone away. You could still hear the loud ship and the ground rumbles, which was good. We joked on here prior is that I was going to make a little video saying, this is me hating the John Williams score in Galaxy's Edge, dancing to it, because at the end of the day, while we do love and have an appreciation for what we had before, I mean, as Star Wars fans, I can never really hate the John Williams score.
Yeah.
I can have opinions on how they're using it, and I think they are listening, so that's something.
Yeah, I mean, I love John Williams. I mean, it's amazing. But the difference before and after, it was all ambient. It was all you hear the chatter of the radio station in the marketplace. You'd hear the music from that was from Oga's Cantina. And now it's I have heard that they've lowered the volume, which is cool. But my big thing is now going through there, I'll hear the score. And instead of being I'm chilling in Batuu, people watching, and here comes that banger of a song on the radio. Now I hear John Williams and I'm I remember that scene from the movie.
Yeah.
And it's just a totally different vibe. It's a completely different vibe. And that's like I said, I would love to have a land where John Williams and Leia and Han and Chewie and everybody, but it's I just don't think that those elements work for Batuu.
Especially with the story that they've already assembled.
Yeah.
And to go and backtrack on that story and the TIE Epsilon is that was actually a classic ship that was beginning.
Oh, I laughed so hard when they said that.
I just want to I know it's sitting somewhere in a studio. Go get the TIE from the beginning of Andor season 2. Go get the TIE Avenger. Push that Epsilon off the stage. Put that up there. It'll disintegrate after 2 rainstorms. But give us something in universe.
Yeah.
Are you really trying to actually us while you're admitting fault in whatever you started? Which shouldn't be fault because we appreciated it. We liked the big swing. We liked going and living in a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah.
And I understand that they wanted to make changes based on people's feedback. And what we have been told somewhat confidentiality wise on it is that it was changed because people were commenting that this is what they wanted. So upon exiting any of the Disney parks, you can go and write a comment. And for Disneyland, it's at the City Hall.
You can also do it in the app too.
I've tried.
Really?
Yeah, I've tried. It's nowhere in the app. You can't even leave a comment about an employee. You can go ahead and say this employee was good and leave them a compliment, but no place to complain, no place to type in your own comment. And apparently enough went in there and said the two things. We're the classic characters, and I want to hear the classic music. And bad news travels further than good news. No, I don't know anybody, myself included, after almost 7 years. I've never gone to City Hall and go, I just want to tell you, this is great. Because it is great. I'm just assuming that they understand that we've renewed our passes and continue to come and make reservations and purchase the milks. You know, we're doing all of these things. I didn't know we had to go in there and remind them that we like this.
Yeah. It's like they basically took it from, Star Wars Renaissance Fair, and now it's Star Wars Night.
And it's funny because, like I said, we are both big. I mean, like John Williams is very sacred ground for us and a lot of people, I mean, naturally. And if people want more John Williams movie or music, ride Star Tours. I mean, you go to the extended queue and because like you said, Nadia, like you hear like, oh, that's from this movie, or that's an asteroid field, or that's a Battle of Geonosis,
Yep.
It's starting to remind me because when we'll move through the land, I'll hear the songs and I'll start to hum them. I'll actually be going along with that. And it's not like we're hearing the Cantina song playing through the radio and we're just doing that little bit. It's just that, I can remember as a child riding on a bicycle with my pals and we start doing the Escape the Asteroid Field song. As whatever adventure we're going through. If you remember in the Family Guy episode, where they went ahead and recreated Star Wars, at one point where they escaped the Death Star, and Han is up there shooting at them, and he's like that, and he's actually doing the music along with it. And he knows the music, and that's how it kind of feels.
The twin sons when John Williams and the orchestra are all
gentlemen, John Williams.
Yeah.
It's tough to separate the music from the movie. And I don't think they want that, and that's what people were commenting on. Is that I want to hear the music? Well, I want $1 billion. That doesn't mean we change. We change around Batuu.
Another issue that I had outside of the music, just real quick before I forget this, is the merch. Doc Ondar's is Star Traders now.
Yeah.
There's just a whole bunch of like Mandalorian and Grogu merch and jigsaw puzzles and Funkos, and here it's like Doc's is supposed to be this place of finding like these treasures and these rare items and stuff that you would expect to find in a store that takes place in the Star Wars universe. But now it's just like they
let themselves go.
It's just
because when they were first selling Grogu merchandise, I remember that they had the little carts under the bridges, but not in the land. They were like as far as it could get without getting in the land.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I respect that. They always stayed out of the line in the sound bath from what became Disneyland to what became Far, Far Away.
Yeah.
They always stuck to that side. And it's like, oh, look at all the plastic sabers and Darth Maul hats and what have you. And it was like, that was perfect. That was fine.
Yeah.
Well, it's like that How You Met Your Mother quote that you like. Go ahead and say it. The people that haven't seen Star Wars.
Oh, the people who, that's something that I've been woken up to so much because people are like, oh, I don't like the music playing in there, and it's just, but it's Star Wars, and the only people who haven't heard the Star Wars music are the people who lived Star Wars because they lived it. They were in it. They didn't know who John Williams was. They didn't know these scores that are playing, but we can be looking Leia in the face, and in the background is the Battle of Geonosis playing. And I'm like, could you talk a little louder, Leia? I can't hear you over me replaying in my head the Reek attack and other things. So,
and you got to say it like Marshall, though, because they lived the Star Wars, Ted. They lived them. Kind of nerdy out again real quick on the Family Guy episode with that scene. I think in the behind the scenes of the DVD, Seth MacFarlane's actually, or it might have been another behind the scenes, but Seth MacFarlane was interviewing George Lucas, and he was asking him like about the music, and so he's like, "Well, if I hummed a song, could you name it?" So he was doing like different. Seth MacFarlane was doing the different, just like he did with Han and Han Peter. And I thought that was pretty funny.
was Lucas able to know any of them?
You know what? It's been so long, I totally forget. So that point was kind of mute. Which
anybody, let us know and talk back. Thank you.
Yeah.
Down below, comment below, like, and subscribe.
But part of that question was one thing I was going to ask. Kind of maybe I don't know if I've even asked you this, Alex. Because I always used to since we are celebrating Star Wars Month, kind of like just kind of random questions, and I don't say icebreaker questions an hour in on a show, but since a lot of people do celebrate May the 4th or all month long, do you guys have any special traditions throughout either May the 4th or the month of May that you got to do every year just to celebrate?
Go to Batuu.
We've stopped attending the Star Wars nights financially, and although we were gifted tickets last minute for the May the 4th Star Wars night, so that was surprising. But one of the things that we like to do is that on May the 4th, we know we're not going to Star Wars night. We also know they're not stopping people from wearing costumes into the parks. So it's like, all right, here we go. Time to put on a show. And Nadia dressed up as Ahsoka this year, and I drove the virtual car of Balin Skull, and we put on our little outfits and went and had a great time. We were able to pretend in that window, and we didn't have to go. We had tickets, but just saying that's all we needed. And we experienced it with other fans. Yeah. We had people that we knew. We had people we didn't know. People coming up to us and go, "Oh, you guys are the explorers, aren't you?" And it's like, "Yes, have a sticker." And that's what we do.
We always have stickers on us. Always.
Nice.
But to both be noticed, and also us going up and fanboying and girling over people that we're meeting there too. So it's such a hippie holiday, shall we say? I mean, there's nothing but love in the land. It's a Life Day light.
It's nerd prom.
Nerd prom.
Yeah. Good.
Everyone
Call.
dresses up.
Yep.
I've been to Star Wars night 2 years ago. And I'm like, okay, it's for the price. It's
well, you can now experience Star Wars night every day if you go to Galaxy's Edge.
Exactly.
Because you're going to get that same type of experience.
Yeah.
That's not entirely true, but that's something that it looks like it might be moving into if we're not too careful about it. And we lost Alex.
I know I was just about to ask him his point too. So. Before some of my traditions, I know it's easy. A lot of people say like, "Oh, I watch the movies," or it's like, "I watch the movies year round," so that's not much.
Yeah.
So one thing I like to do is watch the stuff like Family Guy or Hey Alex, Robot Chickens. The tributes, the spoofs. The original Saga Blu-ray has great special features. So one of the ones I like to watch the most is the Star Warriors. That's the documentary about the 501st that march in the Rose Bowl parade when George Lucas was the Grand Marshal of the particular parade, and they brought in members from all over the world, different troops to march. So that's one of my favorite ones. And then another one, not so Star Warsy, but on George Lucas's birthday, the 14th. I like to have dinner or lunch at Mel's Diner. So,
Nice.
for those American Graffiti
Yeah.
fans, you know, so got to thank the maker. That's how I do it. Having a bacon cheeseburger and a milkshake.
And I'm glad you can regard George Lucas in that way, because I can remember back when we had the prequels coming out, and it's like, oh, George Lucas is ruining Star Wars. Oh my God, all of the blue screen work and
Yeah.
the horrible writing, and he's destroying. And now, again, he's back where he should be, on that pedestal. And right now, poor Kathleen Kennedy and J.J. Abrams and everyone else is getting blamed for the failures of Star Wars. And it's like, wait, you said this already. We heard you talk about Lucas that way, and nobody remembers that conversation.
The prequels suck 20 years later. The prequels are awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, but they're the people that grew up where it was their
I always loved the prequels.
because
Yeah, same
he
here.
was in the theater
Yep.
watching Star Wars for the first time. Before that, it was just the thing on TV that you could put in at any moment with the cassette tape,
Yeah.
And
I was
now
that
it's yeah.
Yeah. And I was that person in the theater for the first time again. A 20-year-old person transformed to 8 years old again.
Yeah.
I love the prequels. I've always loved the prequels.
Well, I was even bringing up a point back when we had the original 3 and only the original 3. The fact that so many people are like, oh my God, Return of the Jedi was the worst. Oh my God, those Ewoks. Oh, they're just good little guys in suits. It was terrible on it there. And it's now people are going through, of the 12 films, it's my second favorite. It's like, you weren't saying that coming out of the mall when you saw it.
And now people are stampeding through downtown Disney to get the Ewok blind boxes.
Yes, exactly.
Which Alex was successful yesterday.
Oh, nice.
I've been there 3 times in the last 6 months, and every time on every day of my trip, I was looking for them. And I remember being there on Saturday and just saying, oh, do you guys ever get these in anymore? She said, yeah, just periodically. And I was like, yeah, but you wouldn't get a shipment on a Sunday. And she kind of looked at me like, oh, you never know. Sure enough, Mother's Day, they were going through them fast. She told, by the time I got in there around 11 a.m., she said they had already refaced once.
Wow.
All 4 packs. So, and it was just a line inside of people buying there too.
And then after I saw his post 30 minutes later, my girlfriend, I was telling you guys through message, like, oh, my girlfriend's at Company D right now because I saw your post the previous day. And so I text her, I'm like, Alex is at Downtown Disney. They got Ewoks, and they're eating at Garden Walk, and they shot over there. Her and her sister both were able to get their 2 as well.
Oh, yay.
See?
But they both got, my girlfriend, she got the same 2, and then her sister got the same 2.
So they trade each other, or they're trying to trade something else?
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's up.
A successful story.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
good.
But I get 1 is basically the end of the story. So,
Oh, okay.
What'd they get? What do you got?
so Kelly, my girlfriend's sister, got the one, I didn't see the names, but the light gray one that has the Stormtrooper bucket.
Okay.
And that's the one I'm getting. And then Courtney got the dark gray one with the crossbow and arrows.
Nice. We have not opened
I got
up.
Wicket.
Oh,
Nice.
She got the only one we can remember the name of.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wicked and Law Gray. That's all I got.
Come on, Chief
And
Chirpa.
Nessa or
Come on.
Nisa
The
from the
original
cartoon.
figures from Kenner.
Yeah.
Chief Chirpa.
Um,
They had him out before they had Wicket, and he was always my stand-in Wicket whenever we were playing with the action figures. It's like, wow, Wicket, you're big, but
Yeah.
didn't have a choice.
Oh,
Didn't have a
man.
choice back then.
Hopefully they get him again next time I'm down.
Yeah. But
So,
yeah, so this history of what was good and what was bad. I mean, it's funny to watch how things that were not accepted are now accepted in the community. And we've watched a turnaround this last couple of years with Jar Jar Binks as a character.
Yeah.
And instead of him being the reason that people want to destroy their VHS collection of episode 1, the special making, now it's just like, oh, what a cherished character.
Yeah.
And so it's incredible to watch the change of mind so quickly. of what the people like and don't like in Star Wars. And if you wait long enough, it becomes the gospel. It becomes, Jar Jar was a tragic character who was, was tricked into going ahead and electing powers to Palpatine. And it's like, the silly guy with the tongue,
or
the goofy
or
walk,
some say he's a Sith Lord all along.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
well,
no,
there is one part of the franchise that has debuted and is not having that reputation though, and it's Mandalorian.
Oh yeah,
the Mandalorian's coming out in the movie theaters now, and that's going to be, there's like nothing but love for the Mandalorian. Then
I don't know. I think it got some hate in season 3.
Really?
Captain Bombardier and the Duchess.
I remember people feeling that way because it was one of those situations. Like again on Big Bang Theory, when one of the girlfriends watched Raiders of the Lost Ark for the first time, and it's like
ruined
Indiana Jones had nothing to do with the story. The story would have played out exactly the same way. They would have found the Ark, they would have opened it, and everyone would have died. Indiana Jones was just an observer. It turns around with this kind of situation.
I don't know
that the Mandalorian wasn't necessarily needed to be there for the 3rd season because we were watching Bo-Katan's story. We were watching all these other elements, and it was just like, well, we had Mando as a tag along, opposed to the first 2 seasons. Was you've completed this mission? Let me go ahead and give you your next mission. And it was like a video game. He would face the boss at the end, and then he would go to the next level. And that's a format we liked and we loved, and got to episode 3, and it's like, well, Jack Black, which was fine. I love it.
Well, and I think with the way season 2 ended, we were on such a high with Luke Skywalker. So to come back with season 3, and not to mention those people who didn't watch Book of Boba Fett and were kind of lost from that. I feel like right now where we're at, we are all in the throes of the hype. All the merchandise is coming out. I saw Skywalking posted about a lot of the things we could find in our supermarket and such. But I think there was a bit of you're putting a TV show on the big screen, so there wasn't the excitement over a Star Wars movie the way that they are used to. And I mean, at least for me, and I'm sure all of us here, we are super excited. But the media blitz is on, and I think people are very excited for Mandalorian and Grogu. And, come next weekend, we'll see exactly how, unenthusiastic people were. I don't know what projections would be a success for them on this kind of a movie.
Well, I mean, they spent 2 or 3 years working on it. So in that time, they could have produced 2 or 3 series. And with that, those series can run on rerun, and then they can sell them on Blu-ray, and that would be money that would keep coming forever. Right. So instead of making 30 hours worth of Mandalorian, they went ahead and they put together a 2-hour one that, we can sell that as one Blu-ray. I can't go ahead and, have a dozen Blu-rays come out. You have to buy the set to get it and so forth.
Yeah, but there's also the merchandising. I mean, like, what's their cut on the merchandising? Like tonight, we went to Burger King and we got the Mandalorian meals, and it's like they were almost out of like a certain color of cups. They only had a couple of certain toys left. They didn't have any of the bundle boxes. They're like, they're running low on all this stuff. So it's like people are definitely like feeding into the merchandising aspect of it. So it's like, I wonder what their cut is on the merchandising, because it's like that stuff is literally flying off the shelves.
Well, and speaking of Burger King, because of that, I have become addicted to those fried pickle chips that are in that burger.
Me too. I get them with extra.
I'm like, instead of the fries, can I just get a little box of fried pickle chips?
Those are so good.
When they discontinue it, I'm going around the back of every Burger King and checking their trash bin. They got to be throwing out a box of that stuff.
But I just wanted to chime in on the Mandalorian season 3 real quick. I loved it because, I feel like a lot of people that followed, well, first of all, Rick Fumiyawa, one of the directors and producers of Mandalorian, he said the Mandalorian's not just Din Djarin. This season the Mandalorian was Bo-Katan, but I mean, but they didn't announce it. But following her story from Clone Wars to Rebels to see where it ended, I mean, I thought, I thought everything was great. So,
and I didn't dislike it. I didn't dislike season 3, unlike Alex, who hated it. No. But what it was something different for the public. They had 2 years of solve this mystery, save this town, save these people, save this ship, and then we'll give you, all right, now we'll lead you to your next part, leave you to the next part. So when they came back in season 3 and broke that format, then that's what was throwing, I think, the public off, because they want potentially, this is going back to Star Trek terms, they want a reset button. Yeah. So no matter what happened to the Starship Voyager during that 43 minutes, when you started the next episode, everyone was fine, the ship was fine, and they're just going on their merry way and having the new adventure. And
they didn't have much of an overreaching arc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, and go ahead.
I would say like a Scooby-Doo episode, too. That's, I guess that's constant for me. But yeah, I enjoy it. I think I was talking more to the chimes from online and chirps at it. And I am very, very excited to get into Mandalorian. Like, I mean, I think that's the big thing going back to when Disney, the prequels, prior to the prequels being announced, I mean, we were, 15 years dry for a Star Wars movie. And I think at that point, a lot of people probably didn't think we'd ever get Star Wars again. Now we're up to our ears in Star Wars so much that a lot of people are saying, all right, how much is too much? Slow down, make sure quality control's out there. But here at the Disney Universe podcast, we generally like to think all new Star Wars is good Star Wars.
Yes.
There is not any Star Wars we would ever classify as bad. As me, someone who works in the craft beer industry, there are bad beers. I will say that. But I am not going to say a beer is bad just because I don't like it. It's just not for me.
Yeah.
Right.
And
that's been the biggest challenge with the Star Wars community, is that when they hate, boy, do they hate. I mean, it's sick 'em. And we're starting to see a lot of that on our different responses to different things we post. And it's not necessarily directed at us, but it's directed at, Acolyte. I mean, oh my God, that was such garbage. And I can't believe that Disney would spend their money on such a horrible script. Everyone involved with it needs to be shot. And it's just like, dude, you're getting a little extreme here. I mean, it wasn't for you, but they shouldn't fire everybody who was involved with a project because you didn't like it. I mean, that's like going to Alex's bar, and it was just like, oh God, I had a terrible drink. Shut this place down. It shouldn't be open. That thing is horrible. It's ruined by experience. And it's just like, try another beer.
Yeah.
Or go get the beer you already like.
I've seen those comments all the time that like, oh, they're ruining Star Wars. This isn't my Star Wars. So my answer back is like, well, then watch your Star Wars, because maybe this is somebody's Star Wars. I mean, just because you don't like it. I mean, obviously there's a lot of Acolyte fans because, they came out in droves in support of, when the cancellation. And I always tell people too, it's like, nobody hates Star Wars more than a Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
Which, not us here.
Themselves, But Acolyte is this month it's in the top 10 of Disney Plus shows. It's being rewatched again. And it's just like, guys, maybe you pulled a Firefly here. Maybe you killed it before you understood what it could be. And I was ready for season 2 of just seeing the Stranger character, to see where that was going to go. That was such an incredible arc and such a different path for them to take. Where it's like, here's the dark side, but they're not walking around evil. This is how they are. They're emotional, they're passionate, and they're going to do bad
Freedom.
things.
They're going to kill everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, they definitely did not leave anything on the table when killing people in that show. I still, when people want to bring it up, some of the best lightsaber fights, I mean, in any Star Wars.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I agree. I
And
so
for
agree with that.
and for book fans, the way his armor, would knock out the lightsabers. I was from, one of my buddies who's was the old EU reader. He's like, oh yeah, that was in like these books that they had this armor that would knock out lightsabers on the gauntlets and stuff.
Yeah.
And so the fact that they brought that out in the bleeding of the crystal, we've seen that in comic books. We've
So
heard
cool.
about it.
So cool.
And that's the thing. I know people that will be like, I will never watch The Acolyte based on what people have said about it being horrible. And like that follower who she had a farm as well,
Oh, no.
kind of disappeared online.
Oh, yeah.
But that was code. She would never even begin to watch the show because the immediate hatred that was out there for it. And I'm like, well, you should watch it and judge it for yourself. That's the beauty of it. I mean, you're paying for the Disney Plus membership. What's it going to hurt for you to try a new flavor of Star Wars? And so I know people that will never go near it. And other than the people saying too many people hate it.
Yeah. Because I have my criticisms, but it's not like what everybody else's criticisms. I'll just say my criticism was somewhere in the middle when they kind of got to the stranger. The story got a little muffled at parts.
Yeah.
And I thought they could have done the flashbacks at different times. But other than that, I mean, I still enjoyed it. I just didn't like the what was it, the hate rating that before the show was even out. So
the going back to Star Trek, first 2 seasons of The Next Generation wasn't great. They had 46 episodes. It's 23 episodes a season to figure out what was wrong and what they needed to correct. And it turns out Jonathan Frakes just needed to grow a beard. Because from that point on, 3rd season on, it suddenly became a good show. But it was one of those things where The Acolyte and Book of Boba Fett, these aren't being given the chance to, okay, they're getting worked in figuring out what works, what doesn't work, and then okay, now we know what to do with season 2. And season 2 of The Mandalorian was a spectacular sight because they had those 10 episodes to build on. And fortunately, they had a strong enough premise and a strong enough creative team that they were able to launch immediately into the season 2. But unfortunately, Acolyte, Book of Boba Fett, maybe even Skeleton Crew, just
Willow.
not going to be
I loved
given a
Willow.
second chance. Willow.
I stand by Willow all the time.
Yeah. So a lot of these shows are being killed too early before they have a chance to find the audience or find their full creative angle.
Yeah.
And we didn't go out and shoot Picasso in the head after he did his first work in middle school. It's just, oh, you're not going anywhere. No. He sort of grew up and developed as an artist and was able to grow and be the classic. And we're not giving any of these shows a chance to do that.
Well, that's kind of what's unfortunate with a show versus a movie, because obviously, a movie's greenlit, and in most cases, it's a contained story. If you're confident in it, you might have a backdoor to a sequel going on in there. Whereas with the show, if you're not putting the whole story in the first season, and albeit at that, a real humdinger of a pilot to even make sure you get greenlit for that season, you might be caught out there. I was telling Joey, I just finished most of today. My wife and I spent watching Chief of War on Apple TV. Great, amazing show. And I think one of the main reasons why it didn't really find its audience is it was committed to speaking in the native Hawaiian language. So most of the show is subtitled. And for a lot of people, they won't do that, which is unfortunate because it was very much like a Hawaiian Game of Thrones. As we got through the last episode, that story is not finished. I am going to be very mad if I don't get to see more of that story. With TV shows, that's kind of hard. Yeah, I guess it's a risk you're taking when you get there and put it out, and a lot probably has to do with the production company putting the same amount of effort behind promoting it as well, which I don't think Disney has ever really lacked on promoting Star Wars, as they know what kind of fan base is out there. But yeah, I've enjoyed a lot of, if not everything they've put out. I was going to say one of the things I would really appreciate, as I did get to experience an episode of Ahsoka on the big screen when they did that screening.
Mm-hmm.
I would love for them to have opportunities to show some of these Disney, like maybe that's something I'll get into next year, is trying to find a local theater that'll do streamings of Disney Star Wars shows on the big screen. I know a lot of us who loved Andor wanted to see some sort of Andor lead into. I know there is talk of a Rogue One re-release later this year for the 10-year anniversary. And I don't know how they would do some sort of Andor package to lead into it, as each episode is pretty long, and really the penultimate, trilogy of episodes was really. I don't know. I'll sit in there for 12 hours and watch it leading up to the movie.
And the Egyptian theater,
Yeah.
the Egyptian theater in Hollywood will do that. They actually will have movie screenings. So it's like, okay, we're going to be showing episode 9. It's coming out this week. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and have you in there for 48 hours for $300. You're going to get popcorn, unlimited soda. We're going to give you this and that. And we know of people that have gone to that and have sat through all of the films leading up to the bigger film. So
yeah, I remember those. Yeah.
Yeah. So, doing an arc of, hey, let's play the last 3 episodes of Andor that lead up to the plot line exactly of what's happening there. I mean, I think they would have an audience for that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go, but they would have an audience.
Yeah, no, the people. Well, and even if it was like a whole, they did all. What is it? The first season might add more, but 24 episodes of Andor. Maybe you just pop in for 3 or 4 here, or 5 of them right at the end. Catch the ones you want, or if as a second run theater, maybe wanted to do like a rewatch with 2 episodes a week would be really cool, or three episodes, since they did it in arcs like that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm riding the high of being able to go see Star Wars in a movie theater. My wife will generally never go to a movie after 9 p.m., but Star Wars and Marvel, she'll make an exception. Since I have to work on Thursday, we're going to see it at 10:40 p.m., so I'm very excited.
Which is awesome to finally see Star Wars on the big screen again with Mandalorian and Grogu where it belongs. I cannot wait. I'm excited.
Yeah.
But going from Mando to Grogu back to Galaxy's Edge, where we get more Mando Grogu on Smuggler's Run just in a week and a half. What's your guys' kind of like opinions or hype level for this redo on Smuggler's Run?
I am excited because I love the original Smuggler's Run, but you can only do it so many times to where you're like, okay, I've got this entire course memorized and I know exactly how to do it. And, so I think it'll probably be, it's a few things. It'll be a welcome change. They're giving the engineer roles and the gunner roles more things to do. Like the engineers, is it the engineers that take care of
It's
Grogu?
going to be the engineers that are going to do everything.
Oh, really?
The poor gunner's going to be like,
yeah.
Then that's
all I do is shoot.
The time.
And there's like 3 different storylines now. There's 2 Imperials and one pirate that they're going to be going after. Disney put out a little trailer for it. I don't know if you guys saw that about a week ago. Where it's Mando on the TV screen saying, okay, there's 2 Imperials and 1 pirate we're going after. And, so it's good to be able to go on the ride and have one of 3 different adventures to go on instead of just the same one over and over again. Like we kind of actually stopped writing it for a while because it's just like,
It's like we're just flying the Falcon.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
I
just-
can't believe I hit that point in my life.
You right?
You know?
Right? That's sad. Yeah. I just noticed they changed the single rider to double rider.
Yeah.
How does
I'm
that
not
work?
sure if that was demand but I'm told a few of the different attractions are actually already double riders, even though they'll just have the single rider signage.
Yeah.
But some of the different rides through the park are already double rider. But
Well,
gives
that's
you a
nice.
great opportunity to sit in the back of the Millennium Falcon and be a useless engineer. I mean, that's what,
Gunner.
no, the back is engineer.
Oh, is
Gunner's
it?
in the
Right.
middle.
Well, it's
So,
not going to
okay.
be useless anymore because
Yeah.
engineer is going to be the one who gets to select which of the 3 missions you go on. So
Yep.
it went from being the least coveted to the most coveted. So now your double riders are automatically going to get pilot or something. I don't know how that's going to work, but
Well, it depends if people know better. I mean, if you're following the news, you know how Smuggler's Run works. People are going to be in there, and it's like, oh, you're the gunner, you're the pilot, and you're like, I thought I was going to sit in a cart and go up a hill, and there'd be a goat up there, and it's like, no, it's not a roller coaster. So people in the know. But yeah, if we're our plans are we're going in a little bit towards the end under the double rider to see if we can go ahead and get that coveted job, this new position that people aren't aware of, and be able to choose locations and feed Grogu blue cookies and such. But when they first came out with Smuggler's Run, when our first day of riding it, I didn't think that was the only one. I thought it was going to be like Star Tours, where we would have different configurations. And after riding it 2 or 3 more times and realizing this is the same show, isn't it? This is always going to be the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, and it's great because we're one of those people. We'll be joking during the ride. And we know when to laugh, when to scream, when to do these different things. So I think we actually enhance it for some of these other people in the audience.
And-
Like we're
and
fine
thank
now.
God
We're
for-
not going to hit anything, and then we hit a spire, and it's just ah. So we try to make
And
it
thank
fun
God for
everyone.
Chewy mode.
Yes.
Yep. Chewy mode.
And then we made a video about how to do that. And my big question was, will the new ride have Chewy mode?
Oh.
There's no telling. There's no telling.
well, I
I don't
know
think they have to change it.
we're going to be plugged into you guys because I'm sure you'll be there on opening day for that. And
Oh, we will.
let us and everybody else who won't be there know if Chewy mode's there, how the lines are looking, and how many cookies you can feed Grogu.
Yeah.
I had one last thing I wanted to ask you guys about Galaxy's Edge. Is I know through the concept art book, there were some things that we didn't get in Galaxy's Edge, like the Bantha style people mover and a dinner show. So I guess to that end, a little bit of blue sky. We're getting this new Mando update. What would you guys like to see come to Batuu in the future?
What would you like?
I don't know, man. I'm still that Bantha ride would have been really cool.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And playing off of that note, we've seen a lot of Universal with their new world building that they're doing out in Orlando, and they've got these dragons, we've got these different characters, and it's just like, why can't you guys make a baby Bantha, bring them out through the Rancor doors, do that a couple of times a day? I'm sure you've got the technology to make a fuzzy dinosaur. I mean, I'm very confident that they do. At the 2020, I can't remember when we went to the Anaheim celebration.
Oh yeah.
Which they had
22?
the full-size Bantha from
Book of Boba Fett.
Boba Fett on display, and it's just like there's no reason why Disney cannot do that and have this interactive element of like, oh yeah, here's one of the Banthas that kind of works at the blue milk stand,
Could you imagine just as like
By the
a
doors.
photo op?
Yes.
The photo op would have an hour wait, solid.
Yeah.
I mean, look at what the photo booth is doing at the Trading Post right now.
Yeah, that's crazy.
We got to do that, and this goes back to our talk about Star Wars night and celebrations and things. I was down there Friday for our Lorcana card release drop. So I was down there at 5:40 a.m. They opened early at 7, so I got everything I came for. But then we were still waiting for the rest of Downtown Disney to open, so I said I'm going to go wait for the Galactic IDs. And there were about 6 people there ahead of me, and so by the time they opened, we only had to wait about 15, 20 minutes. Which, if you add the hour before they opened, we still waited an hour. They had just recently added a second machine, so people were saying the wait times were getting a lot lower. But whether it's, obviously Star Wars Celebration, being in Galaxy's Edge, being at Star Wars Night, or just standing in line to make an overpriced ID card because it's really cool, it's all about the people you meet along the way. You know? These Star Wars nights, I think everybody was kind of together and saying, it's not as great as it used to be, and it's definitely not worth the price. But being in Disneyland with all these like-minded people, you'd probably pay twice as much for it, because that's what it's about. It's about encountering those people who share that same love and sharing stories of your history and where you've been from and things like that. So that was really cool. I encountered and made friends while we were waiting to get our IDs made, so I had to share that.
Yeah,
so that's beautiful. Yeah,
I was going to agree with you with the like baby bantha or like a tauntaun or something, because I was just at Universal Fan Fest and they had a triceratops walking around. They had raptors. They had a hippogriff. They had a centaur. Disney could definitely do something like that,
Yeah, that Triceratops was gorgeous, and I'd seen them do animals previously. Yeah, but that Triceratops was the next step. They really knocked it out of the park with that. I mean, the raptors look like guys on little stilts, but you can't do anything about that. We know it's not real, but
give us some of these fantastic creatures that we've been seeing. That would be amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh man, I know we're totally nerding out. I got 2 more questions too, because we can keep this going on for a long time. But first,
this will edit down to 15 minutes easily.
Yeah, right.
That's right.
So besides going to Galaxy's Edge weekly, a lot of times for shopping or shooting content, what's your favorite part of just being in the Batuu and Black Spire Outpost?
Well, I mean, for me, it was just the interactions that I have with people. We'll go some days and we won't go on a single ride. We'll just hang out. We'll let's go see if Ahsoka's out, or let's go see what Rey's up to, or we should find out if R.I.P. Vi Marati's here, and so it was definitely about being able to interact with the characters. That being said, though, it's like, one of the things that I really did not like about the new characters that are involved is that they're behind that stupid fence in the Falcon. So you can't really get a lot of good interaction with them, So we've only been there with them like twice, and they were 2 extremely busy days. So it's like, it's yet to be seen, how much interactivity there will be with them with lower crowds, and, maybe they will come back from outside of the fence. But right now they're just stuck behind that fence, and it's just like, they've cut down on character interactions that way. So it's like, that was, one of my more favorite things to do. And so, I don't know, with the park changing, it could be changing what my favorite thing is. But at this point, it's just been the interactions with people.
Nice.
And I feel completely the same about it. There is that and I've seen photos of like Han away from the barrier.
Okay.
And Leia away from the barrier, but it's the point that they just started. So you remember trying to see Ahsoka for the first day,
right?
How many small children do you have to push out of the way to be able to get a photo with her? A lot. But all these characters, when it finally calms down, what's going to be their story? And that's going to be that might be a completely different podcast to talk about that in. But
definitely have you on for that one for sure. I think my favorite character interaction that they've had was when they brought out Hera and Chopper, and they're teaching little kids on how to pretend to be First Order Imperials, and tell them how to stand at attention and march and stuff. And then when you get the information come back over here and let us know what they said or something like that.
That's
And
cute.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
liked
that's
how
great.
Chopper would attack people.
yeah,
There were certain, based on like who the operator was, there were certain operators that would just like, I'd see him run people up onto a curb, and just like,
Not just employees.
Yeah.
I've seen a couple of the regulars get chased, and they're climbing into the bushes to try to stay away from Chopper because he can't go over those rocks.
oh yeah. I had a video of I think Hera was talking to a little kid, and then he was kind of scared of her, and then just started bawling. She's like, "Oh, don't be scared," like that. Then Chopper kind of comes up to the kid. He's like, "Uh-oh," kind of like this kid's crying. It was pretty funny.
Oh.
And so the next question, not really question, but kind of getting real world here. We were kind of talking before, and I know Nadia, you've been posting, you kind of going through a little something, and you guys have a GoFundMe, and like I said, we have a little voice, a little soapbox we like to get on and boost the signal when we can. So can you let our viewers know kind of like what the GoFundMe is about and how we can help out?
Okay. So basically I was diagnosed about, how long ago was this, do you think?
I'm gonna say 4 months now.
With cervical cancer. And right now it's stage 1, which is like it's the best kind to get, but I have to get a major surgery. But leading up until the major surgery, I've had to get a lot of diagnostic tests just to kind of see like what, type it is, how invasive it is. They had to type it and, that kind of
have
stuff.
surgery to have the sample taken.
So I've gone through like 2 surgeries, 2 more minor surgeries. And next up, I'm going to be getting a hysterectomy to, remove all of the cancer. And then after I have the hysterectomy, I'm going to be they're going to do like a CT scan to see if it's anywhere else in my body or anything like that. So, and it's just a lot. It's a lot. I have really good insurance through my job, but it's just like the copays are just like eating us alive over here, And so basically we set up the GoFundMes to help me with that. I'm going to be out of work for 3 weeks when I get the surgery. And
minimum of 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So,
and disability only pays up to like 50 to 70% of my pay. So it's like just getting that met as well. So it's just there to help offset all these costs that I'm having with this fun medical journey that I'm having right now.
Well, we're definitely hoping and wishing for the best. One thing that I do know about the Star Wars community, we're kind of poo-pooing on the haters and everything earlier, but one thing about the Star Wars community is they'll come out in droves and
they already have,
and help.
It's been amazing.
Our own. So we'll be sharing the link and we'll be sharing your post on here. And
thank you.
And we'll be getting ready to celebrate the full healing and everything real soon.
Yes. Yeah, we're looking probably the second week of June is looking. That's when I'm going to be getting my big surgery. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, like we're wishing the best, and we're going to boost the signal what we can and share with our friends that have a bigger signal so they can boost and
thank you.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Really appreciate it.
But yeah, man, just so glad. Like we love your page. And that now that I always tell people, we're celebrating Star Wars month, but anytime you guys want to come back on for anything, just nerd out, little updates or just anything new coming out, you always got an open door. We'll be seeing you at the parks a lot soon. Quick question: will we be seeing you at Celebration next year? I know tickets just went sale.
Yeah, unfortunately, we weren't able to afford tickets.
Yeah.
But however, we are trying to potentially host a panel or 2.
Oh, perfect.
Even about some of the things that we've been talking about with the Star Wars community.
Yeah.
So in that case, they do give us a pass at that point. So
yeah,
we're kind of putting our hopes on we're interesting enough that they'll want to let us have a panel, and hence the passes.
Yeah.
Well, especially with Disney, because I know in the past they have try to bring some of the Disney parks to Celebration, whether with panels or this is merchandise that they're going to have in Star Trader or or stuff. So yeah, good luck with that. I definitely hope I get into that. So like I said, really happy you guys came to join us, and can't wait to do it
thank
again.
you. Thank you for having us. This was a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Hope you guys have a good rest of the Star Wars month.
Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to share that as Joe said, we both love your content and your page. For me, it's seeing Nadia live out the Star Wars fantasy for all of us. And Bobby, your voiceover is amazing. It always reminds me of the narrator from Clone Wars. So yeah,
Flash.
Yes.
Whoa! On the move.
Exactly. So I love it. Keep doing what you're doing. Like I said, we're going to be plugged in to seeing you guys there for the opening of the new adventures in Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. Adventures continue, maybe? I don't know.
That's what they were trying to call it in Orlando.
Yeah.
And I know you. I was gonna say, and I know you made Alex really excited because I shared to him your video of the Zeb action figure.
Aurelius.
Yes.
Yes, we love that.
It was a kid's action figure. I said, I don't care. I like the kid's price. $9.99. Are you out of your mind? That's like how much it costs
good.
Yeah.
Well, awesome, guys. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed this episode. You guys are enjoying your Star Wars month. Let us know if you want to comment some of your favorite either May the 4th traditions or stuff you like doing during the month of May. But we will be back next week with another fun episode. But like I've been saying, ending all these shows because it is the Star Wars way. It is the way. Thank you for watching, and may the Force be with you.
This is the way.